That all came from your pitch, right? And then you could go into this whole thing on why they matter and what it is. So good pitches should always solve problems.
All right, welcome to another episode of Connections That Matter. Today I have one of my friends and one of the leaders in my community, if I'm being honest, Sondra Harper. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me out.
Yeah, well, if you don't know Sondra, you should definitely you should fix that in your life, because Sondra is an amazing coach, mentor. She is a published author, and you just wrote another book.
I did.
So that's your second book?
It is.
And how has that journey been?
Amazing. It's been really good. And we can get into how I created some really great relationships in our group. People that just came out of the woodwork to help me get it done. So that was pretty awesome.
We'll get into that for sure. But so the first book wasn't necessarily it's kind of a business book, but it was different. And then this one's a business book. So
yes.
How has that been different?
A different psychology, I think, just different identity around, why people do what they do, why they buy, what resonates with clients. That's what this book is really about. So
awesome. And then it takes a lot of seeing it all the way through. Like when I sit down to write something, I'm like, if I get through a couple of paragraphs there, but that's a whole book, Sondra. And you talked about Alicia did the cover, and you had some other support. Give a shout out to your team of people who made it happen.
Well, Alicia actually was like one of my partners on it, and she just helped me get it finished. She believed in me, man. And she, on the days when I was like, man, this is so overwhelming. This is so much content, so much reading. I don't know if this is going to work. And Alicia's like, no, this is really great. I've read it. Keep going. She was like an angel that just came out of nowhere.
Shout out to Alicia. Yeah, really good. And I feel like you get more excited when you have people that are really good at what they do, getting behind your ideas and all that stuff. Well, let's talk about sales, because you're an expert in sales.
Yeah.
And I talk about networking, where there's a component of sales to that. Is like if you're doing sales the right way, it's relational and it's there. But you're very focused on the pitch and getting that pitch the right way. How does sales and your pitch work with networking?
Oh, because think about if you get up in groups and you're talking about what you do and you kind of just fumble through and you're like, well, I do this thing and I help these people and I have these benefits and it's really great and you should buy it. People go, who? What? Next? Right?
Or they just think about what they're going to say next, and they're not even listening to what you just said.
They're not even listening. As opposed to if you have a really good pitch that resonates and speaks to, who you serve and how you serve them and what problem you solve, right? That's the most important thing as the other person. It's the client. It's not you. It's not about necessarily, really, it's not about the certifications or the education. Sometimes it's not even about the experience. It's about the problem you solve. And that you can get them to that, through that hero's journey to the end of where they're like, man, I just had a transformation. Whether it's a landscaper or it's a roofer, it's like there's a transformational quality that happens in a sales process. And a pitch is the same thing. You're future pacing them into the future that they really want. So that's...
Yeah, I mean, in my networking, there's a lot of people follow this because they're trying to get better at networking. But if you go into the events, in many events, there's an opportunity to stand up and give your 30-second elevator pitch. And you have something that it's like a main takeaway of how do you do that? So unpack that for us for people who may not have met us with how do you do that?
Well, so let's say you're giving your pitch. So I'd say to you, I'd be like, Andrew, what do you do? And you'd say, okay, Andrew, what do you do?
Yeah, no, I build amazing networking groups where entrepreneurs make connections that matter.
Oh, wow. So that last statement, that matter, connections that matter, I'd say, how do you do that? And all good pitches should have that on the end of them. A person should lean in and be like, how do you do that? I want to know more. And then you can start to lace in a tiny bites of your offer. You don't just come out the gate with do you know what I do? I have a 42-point check system. And in this system, we solve every problem. Like, no, you have 30 to 45 seconds to build rapport with other people, and you can build it or you can break it. That's what I tell people. So...
Well, and you fix people's pitch. As an entrepreneur, I'm in my own business and I know it and I want to share it, but you see people's blind spots. And I think that's one of the valuable things about hiring a coach or having an outside view look in, and how is it really landing on other people? What are some common mistakes you see people doing with their pitch?
I think one of the biggest mistakes is they want to tell you what. They want to tell you what they do, right? Like, I'm a landscaper and I make the lawn beautiful and I do it through this, and this. And the other person's like, I don't care. What are you going to do for me? I mean, you've probably heard of the book, like, What's in it for them, right? And that's the pitch should always solve the problem. And your pitch should be able to be 45 seconds to a minute, all the way up to a full hour. And you should be able to teach a class on it for 3 days because you're so passionate about it. I bet you could teach a class on how to start networking groups.
Sure.
And that all came from your pitch, right? Like connections that matter. And then you could go into this whole thing on why they matter and what it is. So good pitches should always solve problems. And when they don't, people don't really lean in.
Sure.
They feel sold to and they feel like it's a salesy thing. And that's what I'm here to debunk. Like, sales is relational. It's about building rapport and it's about seeing another person's where they are and the journey of where they want to get to and helping them create that bridge to get there.
Well, you have such amazing testimonials. That's what, following you and how great you are. But your clients, the people that have hired you to coach them or help them increase their business, they have so much gratitude for the work that you've done. Anybody specifically you want to shout out, or anyone that you, that proud coach moment where you're watching them really step into their own?
Yeah, actually, Alex Tanner.
Former podcast guest. Yeah.
So Alex came to me and he was like, I think, my sales process is broken and I want to close more this year. I think he said he went on 50 appointments and he closed, sorry, Alex, like 12 to 15, which is not a great close ratio. And what we did over the course of those 12 weeks is we just broke down what was happening in each and every section of his sales process and where it was broken, where he may have jumped a rapport bridge, or where he maybe didn't follow up in a way that resonated with the client, or maybe he didn't know how to get criteria of a client. And so we built out the process for him. And by the way, what we worked on, he can use anywhere at any time because it's rapport and relational building. So if he wanted to convince his wife to get something or do something, he could understand what she needed first and then help. So it helps in his relationships too. But a big shout out to him. I think he's at a 98% close rate now.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So he's rocking it and he loves it. He said to me, which was awesome on our last day together, is he said, I expect the close now because I know what I'm doing. I know what to say. I know how to build rapport. I know how to keep rapport. I know how to have the client understand my value. I even know how to get a bid up front, which was one thing that he was really concerned about. Like, I don't know how to get how much money, the budget and the bid. And so we worked through, how do you get the budget up front in a way that the person actually wants to give you the budget, right? Without them being feel like you're putting them off, or like, oh my gosh, why are you asking me the question about money, right? You can do it in such a seamless and beautiful way that people are like, actually, yeah, $10,000 is what I was thinking, right? So you can do it in that way. So big shout out to Alex. So glad he's having some great success, and so grateful to be able to refer clients to him because he is a fantastic professional, right? And that's what I see a lot of times is that somebody can be super good at what they do. Like, chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Amazing at what they do. They just don't know how to articulate the value in a way that solves somebody's problem.
When you brought up rapport quite a few times, that's a huge part of your pitch and be able to ask for it. And you have a knack for it just to build rapport with people. But some people better than others. Some people are like, no, it's like, I'm a great plumber. I'm good with pipes and not with people. But what are some tips that you would give for an entrepreneur to be better or quicker at establishing a high level of rapport with their potential clients?
Learn to listen.
Okay.
Listen and learn to listen before you have the thoughts in your head of what you're going to say next. Because really deep rapport is listening to what they need. And that's the very first thing. Like, learn how to listen in a way that is like so complete. You're like, oh, and you're curious. Listening with curiosity, not in a way that's like, man, I know exactly what I'm going to sell this person. It's like, what do they really need? And do I have the solution for that?
Well, so maybe this is me projecting, but like the entrepreneurs, the people who network, that they have like an internal belief that people don't listen to me are the ones that are the most boisterous, or they try to sell to the room. They're like trying to get out there, and it further repels people away. And then it turns into this like cycle of like, oh, they don't listen to me because they're not approaching me. And I get people that approach me and they're like, you know what? I just feel stuck. And I think you're onto something. It's like being a good listener. How would you take somebody out of that cycle of where, they're approaching it the wrong way, so people are repelling from them, they're not listening, to flipping that on its head?
I would ask questions, and I would listen to what I would literally ask questions about what they're thinking about when they're doing what they're doing. And then what happens in the step right before they do that. And then what has them want to do that right before that. And I'd walk them back to where they may get some inspiration as to what causes them to do that, right? And I'd listen, right? I'd really listen deeply and try to understand, because clearly that's the thing about getting what we want. Sometimes we want something, but it's not in alignment with our action, right?
Yeah.
And when we're not in aligned, like we can say we want something, but our actions speak differently. You got to get underneath, well, why? What happened here? That you said you wanted this, but your actions are not reflecting what you want. So we work backwards a little bit and listening for cues into what causes a person to do the things they do. What was the step right before they did that? Is that giving them what they want? If it's off-putting, clearly that is not aligned with what they wanted, right? So we just do this inquiry into, did that really get you what you wanted? And they're like, no, it didn't get me what I wanted. Well, what did you want? Well, I want people to actually engage with what I have to sell. Okay, great. Let's talk about how you do that in a way for you that is totally authentic and not off-putting to the other person. That's where my genius lies. It's like helping them find that authentic voice to be able to connect with other people in a way that's right for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny hearing you say, because it sounds so clear, but I see entrepreneurs as they're trying to scale, they work harder, they stay up later, they work, they just try to throw more hours or effort at it, but it doesn't really change their paradigm of how to actually ascend to the business. That takes coaching, that takes mentorship, and evolving. But I also see, Sondra, not everybody's super coachable. So how do you, entrepreneurs don't necessarily, they're not the type of people that love being told what to do. So how do you build rapport with your clients where they're open and receptive to coaching, where somebody other than them is giving them advice of might push them out of their comfort zone?
I don't give advice.
Okay, good. All right, so let's make that clear for those watching. You're not going to come to Sondra for advice.
Yeah, no, not unless they say I'd like advice, and then I go, okay, well, let me just pull some out for you. When we coach, it's because that's a coaching relationship. A coaching relationship is all about, we're going to lay the foundation of where you want to go and what you want, and together we're going to figure out how do you navigate past these huge blocks. Consulting is, let me give you advice.
Sure.
You've hired me because I can consult around this, this, and this. And then that's advice. But like you, I don't want to be told what to do.
Sure, sure.
And so coaching is not about telling somebody what to do. It's about saying, is, what you're doing getting you what you want? And if it's not, let's have a conversation about it. Something's in there that maybe just isn't producing you the result you want. It's all about the outcome at the end of the day. Does the pitch get you what you want? Does the process get you what you want? You can be super analytical and high thinking, very intelligent. Doesn't mean you can communicate well, right? Mm-hmm. But you want to do it. So how do you learn how to do it, right? That's what it's more about. I don't want to tell people what to do. People have so many people telling them what to do.
Sure.
Millions of people out there. Let me just tell you what to do. It's like, that's not what this is. This is like, okay, you said you want to do $1 million in sales this year. How do you have a plan to do it? Have you tracked your numbers? Like what's working, what's not? So,
well, I love that. And networking is a big part of how you've grown your practice and your business. And from our conversations we've had, you have some opinions of the wrong ways to do it and the right ways to do it. What are the good and the bad networking opportunities out there? And why do you gravitate towards certain ones rather than others?
Specifically, like,
well, so I know you're an ambassador for the chamber. You're a big believer in that. You've also had some previous experience that wasn't the right fit. You don't have to name any names or anything like that, but I think that you've been around the networking scene long enough that you know it really works. And I would just love to have you share what is your opinions on that.
Well, I really do like NIA because I feel like the model is good. There's many things about it that I think empower the entrepreneur to be able to grow from the coaching side of it, also the educational side, and the way that the groups are structured. Like the meetings, they're fun. Like they're a little more social and they're not so punitive.
Yeah.
Because if you walk into something and it's punitive, it's almost like, man, I just got stiff and I'm not going to be able to communicate. And so it's like people can relax a little bit, I think, in that model. I love the Chamber of Commerce because I think it's a great place for small business just to go meet other small business minds. You can get into good masterminds with people, like what works and what doesn't. And there are ways that are good to network, so.
Well, you stepped up as a leader. I mean, a lot of people join the chamber, but you're an ambassador. Like a lot of times people's first experience with getting plugged in is meeting you and having you show them the ropes. How did you land that spot? And what do you love about being an ambassador?
I like the breakfast.
There you go.
I like the breakfast. And I like that it's the same people. So I'm starting to build like deeper relationships and see people's faces every month. They're pretty supportive, especially in our local chamber. They're supportive of each other. And I think that they put on a good meeting where you can get active and do a lot of different stuff where you can put yourself out there. Like today I volunteered for a golf tournament and that was fun. So you can get really involved, which puts your brand out there and yourself out there. And I enjoy that.
Very cool. Well, as an entrepreneur, I think it's probably you got to be a little vulnerable or humbling to ask for help or ask for coaching. I mean, I see a lot of people, they'll self-teach, right? They'll listen to audiobooks or they'll go through their own, but to actually partner with somebody else for coaching. And some people are like, they just do that because they know how valuable it is. How do you break the walls, though, of somebody who maybe has never experienced coaching or hasn't done it yet to at least seeing if it might be a good fit for them?
I guess they could just, I love this story. So it's in my book. You know how you go to Costco, Andrew? Right? Everybody here is probably, everybody watching has been to Costco. You walk through Costco, it's like, it's a Saturday. You're like, man, I'm not going to spend $300, but dang it, you're going to. And then you get to the little tables where they're like, would you like to try a sample?
Yeah.
And they're like, you're like, yeah, I want to taste that. And you taste it and you go, dang, that's good. Right? And then what do you do? After you taste,
buy the whole big Costco thing.
Buy the thing, right? That's what I'd say with coaching, like try a little sample.
Yeah.
Just sample it, see if it's for you. If not, man, you're not out anything. right? So sample it just like the Costco, and even with your own stuff, as you build your own brand and as you are networking and doing things, think about the sample, right? Don't try to sell somebody the entire cake the minute you meet them. That could give them heartburn, right? Like give them a taste. And so I'd say, try a taste of something. Try a taste to see if it's a thing that would serve you, that you would enjoy, and you would know, like, man, I'm going to get better results doing this thing, right? So that's what I'd say. Think about Costco when you think about coaching, because sample it. Go find some people to sample coaching with, to see if it's a good thing that you would enjoy.
And one thing I love about coaches is they all have coaches. I know you have coaches, and that's been valuable to you. Is there anybody you want to shout out, somebody who's made a big difference in your life?
Mary Lou CV. I don't know if you know who they are.
I don't, but shout out to Mary.
Mary Lou CV. Yeah, she's been in the industry for 40 years. She's a mentor of mine, really incredible woman. She's done big firms like United States governmental firms, and she's just an incredible woman. I still use her and her husband. So I love them. And then Perry Belcher is my coach for online products. Yep. He's sold over $900 million in online products. Yeah, a little out of my range, but I go taste the things and say, maybe I'll buy that.
Yeah. And then if somebody is local or not, maybe because I would imagine you could work with people everywhere, but it is cool that you're right here in Northern Colorado. Yeah. And you're one of one. There's no other Sondra Harper than you. I mean, there's a lot of coaches, but there's one Sondra Harper. Who are you, would you say, perfectly designed to coach? Is there a specific avatar or type of entrepreneur that fits right into your wheelhouse?
Mm-hmm. I love small business owners. And I actually like particularly the trades.
Okay. Which
is funny because you're like, really? But yeah, because like Alex is a landscaper, right? That's one of the trades. I find that a lot of those types of trades, they're good at what they do. They've been in business for a long time, but they're not seeing ROI, especially on the leads that they're getting in, because they haven't articulated their value. And they go out on a ton of these appointments with people, and they don't close them because they haven't figured out how to walk a person through that transformational journey. Another type of client I really love is wellness trades, wellness, like acupuncturists, chiropractors, massage therapists, because those people have a heart for other people.
Yeah.
And they're full on service. So they don't really have a lot of products they're selling. And sometimes in their vernacular, how they describe what they're doing, it can be really heady or it can be really esoteric. And so I like to bring them back to, like, what is it that you do for these people? How do you make their life better? What actually differentiates you? Because there is a chiropractor on every corner. So we work with that. And I love those people. I love both of those, the trades as well as the wellness people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if somebody is like, you know what, I'm watching this, I probably should get coaching. I would love a little sample, little snacky snack. How can people like get in touch with you, Sondra, or figure out if you're a good fit?
Yeah, they can go to my site, sondraharper.com, and there's like a little link there, and you can book a call.
Awesome. And then if you got somebody wants to pick up the book, when's the book come out? Where can they find the book?
Actually, right now we're in pre-launch.
Ooh,
so
coming soon.
Coming soon. I don't think it's on Amazon yet. It's on Ingram Spark right now for distribution.
All right. Well, if it is, we'll update the podcast description so people can order it.
Okay.
Sondra, thanks for coming on the show. This has been awesome, and really appreciate your wisdom and your leadership and like who you are for the community as somebody who tries to get more referrals and connections for people. That's just one part of the picture. Getting them some coaching so that they can ascend to the next level has been a huge part of it, and I just really enjoy the friendship and the partnership with you as well. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you inviting me to come today.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hey all, thanks for watching. I love networking and building relationships with other Northern Colorado business leaders. So if you want to come meet some of these podcast guests, meet me, or meet some other amazing entrepreneurs in Northern Colorado, I would love to have you attend one of our next events. Go in the podcast description. There's a ways that you can see our upcoming schedule, and maybe you could be a future podcast guest as well. Thanks.